Welcome back to my Star Wars Expanded Universe chronological review series, and we have reached Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith, issue number 2. This issue picks up where the previous issue left off, and we get Exar Kun landing on Onderon as he is searching for Sith artifacts. He is very interested in the Sith, which is not something his master likes. And so, guarding the Sith artifacts on Onderon are Arkajeth and Tot Danita and Kay Keldroma. And they are there to greet Exar Kun. And while Kay and Tot are courteous to Exar Kun, who says he's a member of a Jedi archaeology division, so it's interesting to know that that exists. But while Tot and Kay are courteous, Arca sends him away as he senses that Exar Kun is looking for dark side objects because he's fascinated with them. And Exar storms off into the city of Izes, searching for the artifacts himself. Arca's having none of his crap and calls him out on his lies, and so he sends him on his way. But meanwhile, Nomi Sunrider and Ulic Keldroma are entering the Koros system, aka the Empress Teta system, and two members of the Krath Society, Satel and Alima Kato, who are cousins, are now in control there as they had taken over in the last issue. And so a Republic force led by Ulic and Nomi is going to try and restore order to the system. They don't want Darksiders in control there. So they are approaching and trying to fight them off, and there's this great space battle going on. And then all of a sudden some extinct beasts start to attack them. But Nomi Sunrider realizes that it's just a force projection. So this is one of the rare cases in the expanded universe where we get an instance of force illusion, which is a power that some Darksiders are able to use. And Lima Kato is very, very powerful in the dark side of the Force now. She's clearly very strong, and she casts these great illusions of extinct beasts that have the Republic soldiers trembling at first. And Nomi is able to dispel them, but then when they go forward towards the planet, they've fallen into the trap that was set. Nomi thought she had figured out what was going on, and she had. She'd figured out that they were illusions, but while the illusions were going on, it was a distraction, and their ship gets absolutely barraged by the enemy here. And in the end, Ulic ends up with some shrapnel in his body, but luckily they have not hit any vital organs, and Nomi's able to grab him and start to use the Force to heal his wounds, and she's very tearful that she has fallen for the Kato's little charade there. Meanwhile, Exar Kun in the city of Izes comes across an altercation between people of Onderon who are now free of the dark side's rule that had gripped the planet for centuries, and in the streets there are some Nadists, followers of Frida Nad, and they're preaching their dark side incantations still, and the people are like throwing rocks at them, and then they're excited because Exar Kun shows up, and they're like, a Jedi, he's going to take the Nadists away. Instead, he questions them and says, why would you do this to them? And the crowd is very confused. So Frida Nad strikes a deal with these men. They have names, but they're not really important, but they're robed in the traditional like Nadist purple robes. And he strikes a deal with them where he's going to give them gold and protection, take them off planet, and they're going to guide him to the relics. So he goes in and encounters the spirit of Frida Nad, and they have a conversation. It's very interesting. There's some foreshadowing here. And Exar Kun takes the scrolls, but when he gets outside, the two Nadists have turned on him, and they have blasters at the ready. And they're like, no, you're not going to take the scrolls. And Exar Kun, with the dark side, strikes them down in stunning fashion. And the issue ends with Exar Kun setting down on Korriban. So this is not good at all. Exar Kun has now descended on Korriban, set his feet down on Korriban, and set his feet down the dark side path. So things are definitely not good here as the issue ends with Exar Kun figuring out a way to get closer to more dark side secrets. Overall, this was another solid issue. I really liked the stuff with Exar Kun here. His inquisitive mind and his fascination with the dark side is fascinating to read about. He's an interesting character. I also liked Arca being so bold and like in his face and turning him away. He comes across as really strong and wise here. And Arca-Jeth is just presented as this really cool character, and I think this issue like really just shows how amazing this character is. I also really was invested in Yulik and Nomi's story here. They're growing closer together. Their relationship is really becoming a bond, and it's really cool to see them in leadership positions at this point in time as they're fighting the Katos. So overall, this is another really solid issue of Tales of the Jedi. If I had to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd have to give it a 7. But what about you guys? What did you think of Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith issue number 2? Let me know in the comments.